Adios, my friends. Houston was awesome. We'll see you guys in Vegas.
The statements contained in the following video are not and should not be considered financial or investment advice. As with all cryptocurrencies, please only invest what you can afford to lose.
Good morning, tour fans. Blake Rizzo here today with Ruanne Lloyd from the Electra project and Jason Berlin, who you all know has been cycling across the U.S. to raise cryptocurrency awareness for charities. And the goal there is to raise $1 million for HAWC, the Houston Area Women's Center. And Electra is one of our main sponsors, and we thought to get Jason and Ruanne on today to discuss what's going on with Electra, how the project is going forward since they've done their recent fork, and what we can expect for them. So how are you doing this morning, Ruanne?
I had a great Sunday, and yeah, we ready to do this interview. I'm really looking forward to it. I've spoken to Jason and you often on Telegram, so it's great to have these interviews to get up to date and also tell the community where we are at this point in time.
I know that you've had quite a bit on your plate since you've sort of basically taken over the development for Electra. Is that right?
Indeed, I have. I have been involved in the project for quite a while, since about April, maybe a little bit before April. And I joined the project, sort of to help sort of the development side. And as the year has progressed, I've got more and more involved. And I think the big learning curve for me was about, understanding blockchain and all the concepts behind it. So, when you do the programming, you understand exactly what you're doing. So we've managed to do quite a bit. We've managed to release a new desktop wallet. And at the moment, we've just gone through our first fork. So super proud of that. It went very well. And we've got lots on our plate at this point in time. Once you start cycling, should I say, it just keeps on going. We've got the momentum. Now we're looking much better, for larger investors and, the long-term future of the project. So really exciting at this point in time because the price is very, very low. And, this is now the starting point for really big projects to come in. And we needed to do this first phase of the fork to prepare ourselves for what's coming next, like atomic swaps, like the mobile wallet, like Electra Pay. And once these projects start really moving ahead, all the partnerships that we started working with over 6 months ago, they are going to come on board, and we're going to see, reap the benefits now. So we're really excited, especially with Electra Pay.
Well, that's great. And Jason, Electra was one of the very first sponsors for the tour, and they're also our biggest and best community for donations. So Jason, what do you think about that?
Yeah. So just also to go back, my involvement with Electra first started because, again, when looking at cryptocurrencies, a lot of times people are always focused on the price of the actual coin. And I always take kind of a different approach. I'm always looking at the communities and the overall engagement of them. So when I stumbled upon Electra, my research was to go onto like the Twitter, onto the Reddit page, into the Discord server, and that's how we all really met each other. So for me, it was about seeing the overall engagement of the communities. Now, when the tour started, everybody's reaction to that was really, truly amazing. Everybody was willing to help out. They saw that there was a need for helping victims of domestic and sexual violence. It didn't matter the location. They all wanted to really help out. Now, the overall sentiment of the whole crypto market has gone down, but the overall, vibe of the community with Electra is still there, which I think is still amazing. Everybody is still active. They're all still talking. They're all still backing up Ruanne. They're still waiting for the technology. They're all still, solid holders of Electra. Nobody's really saying, let's get out or, what's going on. They're all pushing forward to continue making it happen. And that's a big, belief that I have, again, is just the taking action part and always moving forward. You know, you don't just look at a project and say, okay, oh, they missed a deadline and we're going to just stop. You know, they are understanding, they're appreciative of everything that everyone's doing. The biggest part also with Electra is you guys did not have an ICO. You did not raise any capital. And I agree with you. I mean, going forward now, I think it was wise and it was smart for the investors and for the new technology to wait after the fork of all this to really start.
And I think you nailed it. You know, Electra is so much about community. You know, there is no ICO. There is no CEO. So, you know, we are all volunteers. I mean, you volunteered your marketing skills, and, you know, I volunteered my development skills. You know, we all come in with whatever we have and we volunteer. And because you're volunteering, it's completely different. You know, there's so much more passion and drive behind something. You know, when you've got a huge amount of funds to do marketing, it's so much easier than when you really have to find someone to do the marketing and that type of thing. And I think that's why the community, you know, behind Electra they're actually quite a loyal bunch, you know, and they are almost marketing Electra. You know, each individual are, you know, selling Electra, marketing Electra. So we really do have a special community. And I think, you know, this is the reason why people like you and me ended up in something like that. Something pulled us in because of that community vibe, that we're all doing something to benefit other people. So, and, you know, Tour de Crypto was also very much about trying to get people to understand more what crypto is about, because people are scared of it. You know, and, you know, I'm sure as you are touring, you're really getting a better feel to understand, you know, who really wants to donate towards this great charity, you know, trying to get the different altcoins to come together and to actually do donations. You can see, you know, who are the serious coins and who are sort of the ones that aren't so serious about it. So it's been a eye-opening project.
Yeah, that was one thing. Another big thing I just want to bring up while starting a tour, and this isn't just, you know, we're not going to talk about competing coins. I mean, we're all cryptocurrency related, different communities, but it's still surprising to us how, if you want to look at Electra in terms of like scaling, Electra is still relatively small, and it is. But Blake and I, we've talked to coins that are, you know, within the top 100, even within the top 20, and talking to them, they're like, great idea, we're going to help you out. And then the communities behind them never really like follow through with like what we're trying to accomplish. Now that goes back into being like a giant versus like the little man. You know, as the little guy, you have the opportunity to continue growing, but you can also focus on like where you want to go. The big guys, they may have the marketing budget. They might have all this access to funds, but to get it going and to actually start like talking to the right person, there's so many communication issues with that, so many different higher ups, and it got extremely frustrating just to deal with those types of even the crypto communities. So with Electra, I mean, again, there is a team which we were able to contact, but more importantly, we just make a post in the Discord channel saying this is what we're trying to do, and all of a sudden we have like 20, 30 people saying, wow, great idea, and then they start messaging us. Right. When we started the tour, we basically connected with HAWC, which is a nonprofit that's been around for 40 plus years. They have a very high score with accountability and transparency, which is an awesome connection for cryptocurrencies. So when we went out to try and connect all these teams to them, we actually had some issues doing that. The top 10 or top 100 coins that Blake and I have contacted, there was a huge issue with communication, trying to figure out who we had to talk to get like our point across. We all know that they had the marketing budget to do it, but some of them actually flat out told us that they did not have the budget to even send like $1,000 to help us download their wallet from HAWC and to set everything up. And surprisingly, again, with Electra, we had donations before we even set up the wallets with HAWC. I mean, we had everybody in the Tipbot group, in Discord. They were all the actual individuals within the community were sending Electra to us to then show like how serious they were about with, you know, starting the mass adoption, starting to get people to start using Electra. And HAWC, the representatives there, they were also shocked to see some of the ECA like coming in live, like into the wallets. Every single time a transaction went through, they were like, whoa. Like we even have the video of you, Blake, with Chow.
Right.
When you sent that first test out, it was literally like seconds.
Yeah, it was
like,
instantaneously.
Yeah, Chow's face, she was like, whoa, like what just happened? And like you just received something. Yay. So again, going forward, I think people in general, they need to think about Electra. Yeah, it's considered the small crypto if you want. Again, that's just based on price, but you got to look at the community efforts as a whole. The community, from what we've seen, far outweighs the communities that we've seen from like the top 10, top 100 coins by far.
Yeah, and Ruanne, I can tell you as the charity affairs advisor, I am talking to HAWC every day almost. I am looking at the wallets, and I will tell you that Electra has by far been the most successful contributor to the tour and to HAWC. So we really appreciate that. But Ruanne, one of the things I wanted to find out from you, so you can tell the investors and any prospective investors, what can we look for next from Electra? What's the timeline look like for the rest of the year and into next year?
Yeah, so we've got quite a bit going on, and most of it needs to be done before the end of the year. So it's this last quarter. A lot of the development we wanted to complete in Q3, we're doing it in this quarter. So the fork phase 1 has been completed, which was critical. We're busy in the middle of doing phase 2. So we've got really top-notch developers to help us through this phase. We're going to be doing a core upgrade, to BTC core upgrade, so it's compatible with BTC. On top of that, we're going to be introducing atomic swaps, which is a big deal for an altcoin. We'll be one of the first altcoins to actually be live with atomic swaps. And this all goes with the Electra Pay product that we're going to be launching. I'm hoping, like you cannot believe, that we'll be able to launch this in November, even a beta version. So really looking forward to that, because, you know, the partnerships that we have been working on since the beginning of the year, the 10 billion company, you know, all hangs on all these steps that we had to take place. So we had to do the first phase of the fork to get everything prepared, you know, to really be tight, to understand that we are serious about this. First phase done and dusted. We've got the second phase, we've got Electra Pay, and then we've got the mobile wallets that's coming. Yes, we're talking about master nodes, nothing concrete. And, you know, who knows where the future is going to go. I mean, we got massive ideas with regards to the Electra Pay product, which I'm really excited about, and how we're going to take that product and, you know, look at how we can sort of invest money from Electra Pay to future charities. So, for example, you know, how often do we go and buy something in the shops and we've got this change that, you know, we kind of like, we don't feel that if we lose the change that it'll affect us. But that little bit of change, and you accumulate that every single person, that's a lot of money that can go towards a charity, and what a charity can do with that money. So we're looking at ways of how we can take that loose change and get people to give it to charities. And even to the point where if you're looking at small companies, or, you know, single people that are entrepreneurs, they want to start off something, they might need, you know, some clothes or something to start a new company, you know, so we can start helping people, you know, through loans. So not to the point where they're borrowing money. This is money that's already been donated to help people out there. So there's a whole bunch of ideas, nothing concrete at this point in time. And I think this is what's great about Electra, because we are really a community-based project. So the ideas that come into, you know, this community is great, and we can really take the best ideas and really go forward with them. Yes, we might not move fast as a company that has got a CEO and a financial director and all those things. So we do move a little bit more slowly, but we do get there, and we've got great ideas. I mean, where do you think Tour de Crypto was born? You know, from the Electra room. So, you know, it's just showing you exactly what we're about. We're not, we're trying to actually take crypto and move it past trading. Crypto is not about trading. It started off as trading, and everybody thinks it's all about trading, and they look at the prices, it's going up and down. You can see, we might be a low price, but we're actually quite stable. We don't fluctuate. Electra doesn't fluctuate like a lot of the other coins. So we are really getting there. So I do see huge potential, and we are driven. And if I decide to leave the project because I am a volunteer, it shouldn't be critical, because you've got a whole community that can take over, carry on the project. You've got massive ideas, and we've got so many people in the community. They've got really good relationships in business, and those people are going to create those partnerships so that we can grow the community and really look at proper use cases for Electra. And that's what we're about. We really want the use case and mass adoption.
Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you've got a wonderful community behind you, and there's just a ton of things to look forward to with Electra. And we're all for mass adoption here with the tour. We're so excited to have you guys on board, and I can't wait to see what happens with Electra and what happens with the tour, because we're sort of in a parallel path. This is our first annual tour. Electra's just done their first fork. You have all these exciting things ahead. The tour has all these exciting things ahead. So hopefully both of us will be huge successes, and we can do this again next year.
Oh, absolutely. And I look at what Tour de Crypto has done and what it has achieved from when you started. There weren't many sponsors. Electra was one of the original sponsors. Look at all the sponsorships you've got, since then. And I think you're only in the middle of the tour. I think you've got, quite a bit of growing still to do. And I think that Electra is also at that point. We're at the point where we are going to grow, and this is the time that investors need to come in and invest, because you're not going to get Electra like this anymore. We're really on a path of actually growing and moving ahead. So
well,
yeah, next year I'd love to have the same interview and see where we're at then.
Yeah, that would be cool to kind of look back on this and where we were and now where we are. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Ruanne. We really appreciate it, and best of luck moving forward, and try to get some sleep in between all this development you're doing.
I certainly will. And thank you very much for having this chat.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.